Good evening, everybody. This is Calvin Butler with the RBBS Logistics Learning Centers and the National Dispatchers Network. And tonight is Thursday night. The time now is 7:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it is time for How to Dispatch series, our series on how to become a how to dispatch and the steps that we give, all 7 steps on the dispatch series. Tonight we're on step number 6, which is going to be rate confirmations and BOLs, bill of lading. So look, these things are very important. Rate confirmations and BOLs. Okay. Now I want y'all to understand something. The reason why why rate confirmations are so important. I'm being dead serious here. Don't get a rate confirmation and just glaze over it. Don't do that. Make sure you read and understand every aspect of that rate confirmation. I mean, read everything for several reasons. Reason number 1 is if a broker is going to screw you over, it's going to be on the rate con. Okay? That's where it's going to happen. Because you all can say stuff in the phone conversation when you look the load up on the load board. Conversations are all pleasant until you pay this much money. It's a 1 drop and all this other stuff. Then you get the rate confirmation. You don't read it. And it turns out you may find out it may be a 2 or 3 drop load. Or 2 pickup, 2 drops, 2 pickups, 1 drop, or whatever the case is. That changes the whole dynamic of the situation. Because now your drivers got to pick up, got to make 2 stops, which takes more time. Less time to deliver the load. More load time, more unload time. All this stuff goes into play. And if you don't catch that on the rate con, you could wind up getting taken for a ride. Okay? You may look at the rate con and the money's not the same. And the money is the same. You also want to check to see if the destination is the same. Because they may put a destination on there that may be farther in miles, which the money looks like it's the same, but because it's farther in miles, you're not getting paid as much. Why? Because the rate per mile is what really matters. So check all this stuff when you're dealing with the rate con. We're going to go over a rate con completely, and we're going to discuss all the important factors within a rate con. Also, within the rate con, you have instructions, specific instructions that your carrier needs to abide by in order to get in and out of the shipper in a timely fashion. Okay, because if there are some instructions that shipper that carrier does not follow, there are certain specific instructions like call when you're so many miles out or so many hours away, or you have to call to check in. If you don't call and check in, they may not accept him. Okay, you may get there and well, you didn't call, so we didn't confirm you, so therefore you gotta wait. So he's sitting outside there waiting to get in because he didn't call to confirm his coming in at the time that they told him to call, or he didn't call the right place to get that confirmation. There are 100 different things that could be on that rate con that if you don't read it, that could cause you to either not get paid on the load, the carrier not get paid on the load, the carrier get paid less money on the load, the carrier gets fined a fee on the load, or something of that nature. Okay, so make sure when you're going over those rate cons, make sure that you are reading, first of all, the entire rate con, and make sure you understand it. And if there's a discrepancy or something that's wrong, that's not what you all discussed, you need to call that broker back and have them to clarify it and make sure it's put on that rate con and make the adjustments. Okay. Other stuff that's going to be on the rate con, you need to have maybe need to have a discussion, about the detention pay and also about lumper fees. Okay. So, but we're going to go over all that tonight because rate cons are very important. They're one of the most important parts of the whole process. Now, this is the step that is directly before invoicing and getting paid. So you're getting close to getting paid. You have, found your carrier, you've contracted with the carrier, hit with the pitch, they signed your dispatch agreement, you contact the carrier, they filled out the dispatch agreement, they filled out the carrier profile form, you've gotten all that back, you've gone to the load boards, you've evaluated the load boards and found them some good paying freight, you've contacted the broker, and you let the broker know that your carrier is interested in a certain load. now that broker is now sending you the rate con so you can go ahead and dispatch your carrier. Because without that rate con, you really can't send your carrier out to pick up a load until that rate con has been executed. Okay, so this is where we are right now. We're on the rate con. You've done all the other stuff, all the fun stuff. Now it's time to get to the nitty gritty stuff so you can get paid. Okay, and the rate con and the BOL is part of that nitty gritty. All right, let's go ahead and start sharing my screen. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Let's go ahead and start sharing my screen so we can get on this. All right. As always, we are in our back office. This is where we go to access a lot of our stuff. But if you want a copy of a rate con, I can put the link in here. Well, I can't really put a link in because these are PDFs. I'm gonna see if I can send you all a file so you all can have a copy of of my sample of what these are real rate cons. These are not samples. These are rate cons that I pulled up. But you can always go ahead and pull up some loads that I have. Pull up some of my old loads. As y'all can see here, I'm looking at one here for, this is an invoice that I prepared. And when we get into invoice, and I'll show y'all what you need to attach to every invoice. With every invoice, you need to attach the rate con, the BOL, and the dispatch agreement, signed dispatch agreement on every invoice. I can see here a bunch of invoices that I've done over the years. I've dispatched a lot of freight, as you all can see. I've dispatched a lot of freight. So these are all invoices to trucking companies that have pretty much gotten those through me over the years. So we're gonna look at some of those at a couple of those rate cons to show y'all what's going on. All right, first of all, we're gonna pull up this rate con right here. This is the rate con I want to look at. That's a bill of lading. Let's go with this one. I think this is a bill of lading too. No, it's a low confirmation. All right. Here's a rate con, and I think this is also a rate con. All right. All right. We're gonna go over these two rate cons because every rate confirmation can be different. It depends on how they want to set them up, but every rate confirmation can be different. So you have to pretty much go by, take them, as there is when they come in, and you have to evaluate them on their own merits. All right, let me go ahead and blow the screen up. And you all can see this, right? You all can see my screen, right? Everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. All right. This is a standard, rate confirmation. This is actually a pretty good one. The way it's typed up and everything. A lot of times you'll get rate cons that are handwritten. Okay, they're gonna look kind of messy. This is actually one that's pretty good. I like getting them like this because they're typed up. They're filled out properly. And they're really typed up. Now, one of the things you're gonna look for in your rate con, you're gonna make sure that all the information on who your broker is, or and who the where you're picking the load up at and stuff like that. Make sure that is correct. Okay. Your standard rate con is going to read something just like this. You're going to have what's called a load number or a pro number. Load numbers and pro numbers, they're basically the same thing. Okay. Some people will say load number, some people will say pro number. Okay. But you're going to check for the pro number, which is up here. Okay. There's a rate confirmation. This is titled rate confirmation. It's dated, has a timestamp on it, has the name of the company that you're getting it from, which is Freight Logistics Incorporated. Has their address in Milford, Oregon. Okay, it's gonna have the who it's from. Okay, Michael Jr. McAdoo, and his number, his fax number, and his email address. Is gonna have the carrier information, the carrier that is running that load, J. Panay Company, their phone number, attention carrier, their MC number, their DOT number, driver, and the cell phone number. Now, this is a pretty good rate con because it has the driver's information, which you want to know who the driver is. Okay, you want to know who the driver is in case it's kind of a large company. You want to know who the driver is because and you're gonna want to have their cell phone number, because you're gonna need to be talking to that driver, the person who is actually transporting that load. It's gonna have the size, which is this is a flatbed or step deck. Okay, one boom is 1,620 miles. And how many pieces? 1,000 pieces. Line haul rate is $1,700. Total rate $1,700. Okay, check to make sure the money is right. Okay, check to make sure the money is right, and then you've got the first pickup, which is right here. You got your pickup and you got your drop, which is put as a stop, and it's only got one stop, one drop, one pickup, one drop. You want to check that. You want to make sure it's not two pickups and one drop, or three pickups, one drop, or something like that. If that's not discussed, you want to make sure it's on there. So you're gonna check this on the pickup and the drop, the company where you're picking it up from, the address in Georgetown, Texas, the phone number. You got the appointment date, the date that is to be picked up. You got the seal number. Okay, does everybody know what a seal is? Does everybody know what it is? I'm going to find the seal number if it's not on the Raycon. Everybody know where to find the seal number. The seal number is what's going to be on that lock on the load when they tag the load. Like if you're in a drive-in and they put a lock on it, and they put like a little steel band on it. It's got a lock on it, and it has a seal number on it. That means it's been sealed. That's your seal number. Same thing with flatbed, thing like that. They're gonna put a tag on it, and that's gonna be your seal number. Okay, there's a seal number right there. Okay, the place where it's being delivered to. Okay, which is Stevenson's Equipment in Park, Pennsylvania, Prospect Park, Pennsylvania. Okay, there's a contact phone number. Again, make sure the seal number is still the same. Make sure you have the the seal number on pickup, seal number on drop off should be the same. Okay. All right. Now here are some instructions. These are your guidelines, and make sure you read this stuff. Now we're gonna go over two Raycons, because Raycons they have, each one is gonna be different. Okay, as far as what the instructions is, how they have them filled out. But just make sure you go over them completely and make sure you understand everything on those Raycons. Because if you don't, this is where they're going to screw you at, on the Raycons. Okay? It says here, by signing this agreement, the carrier agrees to the following. Make sure that you read this, and make sure that the driver of that truck reads this, and make sure that they understand. So get confirmation from your carrier that they have read this. In some cases, I have been known to call the carrier up and get them on the phone, and I read it to them to make sure that I know that they got it. Because we will read it, I will read it out loud to them, so that make sure that they understand their instructions. And of course, you're gonna send them a copy of it. You can either text them a copy, email them a copy, or whatever the case may be. But you're gonna send them a copy of this as well. By signing this agreement, the carrier agrees to the following. Carrier certifies they are authorized to transport freight by the FMCSA, Federal Motors Carrier Safety Administration. And at the time of shipment, they do not have a rating of unsatisfactory. Carrier certifies they will not rebroker, assign, or interline the shipment without written consent from FLI. Now, what do they mean by rebroker, assign, or interline? Can anybody tell me what they mean by that? Can anybody tell me what they think that was meant by that?
Double brokering?
Somewhat, yeah. Rebrokering or assigning by a carrier, it can be done, but it has to be with the permission of the original broker. So in other words, a carrier will sign this Raycon and says that they are running it, but then they will then contract another carrier that's not really associated with their company to run the load. You understand what I'm saying? Because the broker doesn't know anything about that other carrier that you may be getting to run the load. In other words, the carrier that they are aware that they have been notified is going to run that load, that has to be the carrier that runs that load. It cannot be reassigned or co-brokered off to another carrier. Okay, so everybody understands what they mean by that: broker, assign, or interline the shipment without written consent of FLI. Doing so, now they tell you what the consequence of that is. This is why it's very important to read this stuff. Doing so would forfeit the right to collect freight charges and permit FLI to pay such charges directly to the underlying carrier. So if you don't work out a deal with a carrier, say, okay, I don't really want to run this load, but I'm gonna pass it off to you, but you're gonna pay me 20% just for passing off to you, or whatever the case may be. Or I'm gonna pay you, this amount of money, and I'm gonna keep this amount of money. Guess what? If they find out you did that, they're not gonna pay you at all. They could just pay all the money to the carrier that actually ran that load. They could. They can also not pay them either because they broke the rules too. You understand what I'm saying? So it's at their discretion of who they want to pay and not pay anybody else. And as you can see, there are other penalties that could be enforced on top of that. Okay? All right. Doing so would forfeit the right to collect freight charges and permit FLI to pay such charges directly to the underlying carrier. Carrier certifies its position of the required insurance for the truck involved in this shipment, which includes but is not limited to cargo liability in the amount of $100,000 and auto liability in the amount of $1 million, and any applicable workers' compensation insurance as prescribed by the laws of your state. Both parties agree that FLI is the sole party responsible for payment of carrier's charges. Under no circumstances will carrier seek payment from shipper, consignee, or FLI's customer. Now, there have been instances where carriers find out who the actual or they know who the shipper because they're picking it up from the shipper. There have been instances of carriers trying to work a backhand deal with the shipper around the broker. Now, you're not supposed to do that. Okay, neither you as a dispatcher or the carrier is supposed to go directly to that broker's customer and try to work a backhand deal with them while you're under load with that load. Now, if you happen to come across that shipper by some other means or through some other whatever on other freight or whatever, that's fine. But you cannot, while you're under a load, while you're under a rate confirmation, while you're under an agreement of running a load, you cannot go and speak to that shipper about running extra loads outside of that broker. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand that?
Yes, yes.
Because I don't want you all to get in trouble and get your carrier in trouble. Some people may say, well, this is a good way to get direct shippers. Once you find out where the load is being picked up at, then I can just call that shipper back and say, hey, you got any more freight that runs like that? We'd be glad to run it. We work out some directly with the shipper. No, you can't do that. Because one thing, you're not a broker. For another thing, you are contractually under a contract when you accepted this load. Okay, so you cannot be negotiating with that shipper for other freight while you are under contract to deliver this load. Okay, let's make sure of that now. Don't try to compile a direct shippers list by running loads for brokers and then going back and using those shippers in your direct shippers list. Okay, that is not the right way to do business, to say the least. Now, and they have consequences for you if you happen to do just that. Okay, limited insurance, payment, carriers, consignee, FYI's customer. Okay, failure of FI, F, all right, here we go. We're right here. Charges under circumstance with the party responsible for payment, carrier payment from shipper, consignee, or FI's customer. Failure of FI to collect payment. Hold on, I'm missing something. Let me go back up here where I started off at. In the amount of $100, liability, applicable workers' compensation insurance. Both parties agree. FYI said, okay, here we go. Both parties agree that FLI is the sole party responsible for payment of carrier's charges. Under no circumstances would carrier seek payment from shipper, consignee, or FLI's customer. Failure of FLI to collect payment from its customers shall not exonerate FLI of its obligation to pay the carrier. So in other words, FLI has made a commitment to pay you even if they don't get paid by the shipper. Because more than likely, they have what's called non-recourse factoring. Does everybody know what non-recourse factoring is? Put it this way, is there anybody who doesn't know what non-recourse factoring is?
Where they'll pay you or they not will pay you.
Well,
You're gonna get
non-recourse,
paid.
yeah, what non-recourse factoring says that you're going to get paid regardless. The carrier gets paid regardless. It also says that the broker gets paid regardless, or the shipper pays not. Because with factoring, and this is why everybody uses factoring. Every broker I know has factoring, okay? And I would say about 90% of brokers all use non-recourse factoring, okay? Non-recourse factors, the factoring company gets a higher percentage. They get about 5%. Recourse factoring usually charges about 2.5% to 3.25%. But non-recourse factoring charges 5% as a low fee, okay? But the advantage there is if for some reason they can't collect money from the shipper, they don't come back to you and make you pay that money back. That's why it's called non-recourse, okay? You're not going to get any chargebacks, okay? Well, I was about to explain something here. Non-recourse factoring is the best way to go because you don't want to be charged back money because, yeah, I know what I was about to say. Because, the shipper, legally, the shipper can take up to 120 days to pay out on load. Y'all did know that, right? Y'all do know that shippers can take up to 120 days to pay out on loads, right? Y'all need to understand that. So if you're ever doing a load that is not factored, you could be on a long wait to get paid because the shipper can take up to 120 days to pay out on a load. So, and I always like to ask brokers, is this load factored non-recourse or is this recourse factored? You always kind of want to ask that because you don't want, a broker coming back to your carrier and say, well, and this hurts brokers more than it hurts the carrier. Because once a broker's paid the carrier out, I mean, they're gonna catch hell in high water trying to get money back from a carrier if the shipper don't pay. I'll tell you that right now. They're gonna catch, and there's nothing legally that they can do to make that carrier pay because they took the risk. Okay, the broker took the risk. Now, this is for those of you who are brokers. If you take the risk of accepting a load from a shipper and your factory is non-recourse, that means that you take the risk of paying money out, and if that load don't get paid to the paid by the shipper, then you just out that money that you paid to the carrier. Okay, that's why you always want to go with non-recourse factoring. Okay, the two types of factoring. There's recourse and there's non-recourse. It's worth it to pay that extra 2% or that extra 3%. Trust me on that. If you are a broker, okay, if you are a broker. Now, if you are a dispatcher, you don't need factoring. I know a lot of dispatchers, I want to factor my loads on my carrier, but I want to make sure my carrier pays me. I can show you all. I'm going to show you all on the invoicing side once we do the next week. I'm going to show you all how to get guaranteed to get paid each and every time. Guarantee how to collect your money even from even from a carrier that has said I'm not gonna pay you, or a carrier that's running from you. I'm gonna show you how to guarantee to get your money 100% of the time, no questions asked. Okay, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. Okay, next week. All right. So make sure that it's non-recourse factoring, because this statement kind of covers that right there. For payment of carrier's charges, FYI, the parties are responsible for carrier charges. Under no circumstances would carrier seek payment from shipper, consignee, FLS customers. Failure of FLI to collect payment from its customer shall not exonerate FLI of its obligation to pay the carrier. FLI agrees to pay carrier's invoice 10 days after receipt of the invoice and the clean bill of lading. Okay. Now, this is a pretty good rate card, because they actually outline and tell you when to expect to be paid. Okay. A lot of BOLs don't tell you that. This is a very good, I'm sorry, a lot of rate cards don't tell you that. This is a very good rate card. It specifically tells you, okay, FLI agrees to pay carrier's invoice 10 days after receipt of invoice and the clean bill of lading. So you know when your carrier is going to get paid. So if you know when your carrier is going to get paid, you know when you can go ahead and do your invoice, right? And have the invoice date set to send to them on day what? Day 11, right? Because that's the day after they got paid, right? Right? So next week on invoicing, I'm gonna show you all how you can do that through Square. Now, if you're using some other system like QuickBooks, PayPal, Quickens, or whatever you use, but I'm gonna show you all how using Square, how I use it, and I can set my invoices to be sent on a certain date. Specifically, when you're dealing with rate cards like this, you can go ahead and you can set your invoice date on the date that this be email and text to your carrier. Okay. After receipt of clean bill, okay, and bill of lading. All of the details pertaining to this shipment were listed above, and both parties have verbally agreed to the stated total payment. This amount, including all tarping, fuel surcharges, and any other fees related to this shipment, listed or not. Now, this is kind of a gray area here. Now, on something like this, I usually call them back, okay, and ask them some other questions, right? Because there could be stuff that pops up that's outside of that rate con. Can anybody tell me what could pop up outside of the rate con? That might need to be discussed. Can anybody tell me what else could pop up that you all might need to discuss outside of the rate con? As a dispatcher, this is going to be your responsibility to bring this up with the broker. Nobody got any clue? All right. If a carrier goes there to pick up a load and have a certain time to pick the load up, and it takes them longer than 2 hours to load that truck, what needs to be discussed if it takes longer than 2 hours to load that truck?
Detention pay.
Detention pay. Okay, that's not listed in here, because here is a broker that's basically they're telling you. That's why you have to read this. You have to understand what you're reading. Because if you accept this and don't call them back to get any type of clarification, if it takes them too long to load that truck, they could say, well, we don't owe you any detention pay, because the clause says right there, what does that clause say? It says that all the details pertaining to this shipment were listed above, and both parties have verbally agreed to the stated total payment. This amount included all tarping, fuel surcharges, and any other fees related to shipment, listed or not. Additional charges to the agreed rate for changes in shipment or accessory charges must be approved in writing by FLI. Deductions for time-sensitive or service failures must be advised in advance by FLI and agreed to by carrier via signed rate confirmation or acceptance of the load. So basically, they're basically telling you in legal terminology, in legal language, that if you want to get paid for detention pay, it's got to be in this rate con. Like I always tell you, if it ain't in the rate con, it don't exist. Right? If it's not in the rate con, what happens? It does not exist, right? Right? It does not exist. It's not in the rate con. Okay. So when you read these rate cons, you get that type of thing. You want to call that broker back and say, hey, I'm looking at the rate con, and we never discussed really detention pay, lumper fees. Do y'all know what lumper fees are? Can anybody tell me what lumper fees are?
The fees, they have to pay the guys to unload the truck.
Exactly. It's usually associated with refrigerated cargo. There's hardly ever lumper fees on flatbed, because usually flatbeds, they come out with a crane, drop it on, or forklifts to drop it on, and then it's all done. Usually lump fees are associated when actual people have to go on and remove stuff, box by box or piece by piece or something like that. Usually when you got more than 2 or 3 people who are doing that work. Okay. But usually if it's something that can be loaded up with a forklift, most likely it's not gonna have lumper fees. Because you just pick it up, drop it on there, and then they're done. But usually when you got physical manual labor of unloading the truck, and that happens a lot with refrigerated items, okay? Because that happens a lot with refrigerated items, okay? Some refrigerated trucks, you can't go up in there with a forklift anyway, because it depends on how it's made, the refrigeration and whatever this and that. You could damage that trailer. So, but lumper fees is another thing that can come up outside of the rate con. Okay, detention pay, lumper fees. Okay, lumper fees is supposed to be the responsibility of the broker. The broker is responsible for authorizing and paying lumper fees. Now, have I had carriers to pay lumper fees? Yes. I've seen some carriers that does pay lumper fees, but they get that money up front in the load fee, in the rate, because they're used to going to a certain carrier, a certain place to pick up, and they know what the lumper fees are, and then negotiate that within the rate. So then they just pay it out of their own com data checks or EFS checks or whatever the case may be. But most of the time, 95% of the time, brokers are responsible for paying lumper fees, okay, and detention pay. Okay, so a good dispatcher is going to discuss that before signing that rate confirmation. Everybody see how important the rate confirmation is? See how important it is to read the rate confirmation. Now down here, you're gonna have your rate confirmation.
Yes.
All right. Now you're gonna have your rate confirmation details is gonna be on next page. Make sure you're going to read that rate confirmation detail. You're gonna have your rate confirmation, your pro number. You're gonna make sure it's right there. Make sure it's the same pro number that's there. Make sure it's the same pro number that's up there. Make sure that the pro number is all the same. Okay. You see, you got the name of the company, where it's coming from, who the driver is, and the carrier, the Freight Logistics Incorporated, their address. Freight Logistics Incorporated pays all carriers 10 days after receipt. They are reiterating what they have said up here already. Okay. Freight Logistics Incorporated pays all carriers 10 days after receipt of the invoice and the signed clear bill of lading. Now check calls can be easier than ever. Drivers text your pro number, location, and status update straight to FLI text check calls to there. That's the number you text that to right there. You're gonna have that, sign, send bills to this address above, pro number again, and then the e-sign stamp right there. This is a pretty good rate confirmation. They have the e-sign stamp, all that type of stuff. So everything is real good, up to date. It's not a handwritten one. There are a lot of times when you would get a handwritten rate confirmation, and you have to really go over those because you want to make sure you're reading it right. You know how people's handwriting can be. So you want to make sure you're reading it right and you're going over it correctly. Now, that's one rate con right there. Let me see if I can pull up another rate con. Here's another load confirmation. All right, this is a different one. And hold on, let me escape that real quick. But let me pull up the BOL. I got the BOL for this one too. Yep. All right. So we're gonna go over this rate confirmation and the BOL. All right. So this one, all right, here's one from DAC, D-A-K, not DAC, but D-A-K, out of Sarasota, Florida. A load that I had did for one of my carriers, whatever the case may be. All right. Same thing. Remember I told you sometimes they call the load number, sometimes they call the pro number, right? Y'all remember that, right? In this case, they're calling it a load number. Load number, pro number, it's the same thing. Some people call it a pro number, some people call it a load number. All right, does everybody understand that? So don't get confused when you see load number and you see pro number is on another rate confirmation, and they don't say, well, where's the load number? All else is a pro number. No, they're the same thing. Load numbers and pro numbers are the same things. Okay? The date, equipment, flatbed step deck, equipment length, weight, 8,000 pounds, distance miles, 1,168 miles. Okay? Make sure all that's in the carrier, information. You got the broker, information there. Florida, you got the carrier, information, BNT LLC. There's the information right there. MC number, primary contact, Tony at dispatch, phone number, driver not set. They haven't set a driver yet, but when they do, they'll put the phone number there. Make sure you call them and get that driver's information. Notes and references. Okay, now this is one that has instructions for the driver. This is what I mean by go over the instructions with the driver so the driver knows certain things that they have to do. So that they don't do these things, they could be penalized and you could not get paid. Okay. Notes. And you got the 3 little stars there, which means this is what? Important. All right. Driver must collect payment code from delivery contact person before offloading. Okay. References. This is the person ran therapeutic air compressor on single axle trailer. Item number. Gives the item number right there. Okay. This is what they're, what type of trailer it has and type of compressor and all that type of stuff. All right. Date. The pickup. Where it's picked up at. The date is picked up is on 1/10/2018. Location, Major General Hugh B. Moat Terrence, Moat, Tennessee, National Guard Headquarters. This was a military load. National Guard Headquarters, Major General Hugh B. Moat. Major General Hugh B. Moat, Tennessee, National Guard Headquarters, and whatever the address is, Sitco Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, and so on and so on. Contact Sergeant Cox. Okay, his phone number, right? Cargo, air compressor on single axle trailer. Okay, reference 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's your pickup time. Anytime between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. That is your window of pickup time. Okay, Notes. Again, you have another note down there. Driver must bring release paperwork and must call ahead so he can escort you onto property. So you can't just show up at a military base and say, hey, I'm going to pick up a load. You can't do that. They're telling you got to call ahead. You got to call ahead. Also, the driver must collect what? Payment code from delivery contact person before offloading. So you got to call ahead, right? So they can have an escort there to escort you onto the property. Because this is a military base, and all military bases are guarded and protected. Okay, you're not just gonna roll up on the military base and just cruise right in. It's not gonna happen. So you got to call ahead so they can arrange to have an escort to meet you there at the front gate to escort you into the military base. Okay. Deliveries, date for delivery is 1/12. That's 2 days later. 2018. Location, Pine Ridge School Facilities. 101 Thorpe School, Pine Ridge, whatever this is. Contact Daniel Nelson. Phone number. There's his phone number, office, and cell phone number right there. Best to reach, right? Which is that cell phone number. It says best to reach. All right. There's the cargo. Make sure it's the same as that. Make sure it's the same. Check the cargo. Make sure it's exactly the same. Okay. References. Don't have any references. Note hours. 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, or call for after hours. So your window for delivery is 8 a.m. in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon, Monday through Fridays. If it's going to be on a Saturday, it's going to be after hours. You got to call to arrange for delivery on after hours. All right, let's go down here. Got some more stuff down here. All right, here we go. Pay items. Okay, flat rate $1,600. All right, quick pay, ACH at 3%. Payment code. Okay, driver must collect payment code from client before offloading, then call back and give us the payment code. If payment code is not collected by the driver and repeated back to that shipping and transport, we will be unable to pay your transportation company. Y'all see how important it is to read these instructions? Very important, right?
Yes, very important.
Very important. That's why I say you read every rate confirmation. Do not just glaze through a rate confirmation, because they're all going to be different. They're all going to be different. They all have certain specific things that have to be done in order for this transaction to take place smoothly in order for you to get paid. Okay? So it's very important that you read these rate confirmations. By accepting this load, you are acknowledging these terms and releasing that shipping and transport LLC of any liability if your driver does not collect the payment code. See, there are consequences for not following instructions, and they lay them out for you, but you got to read this stuff. You have to make sure you read this stuff. Check the rate amount, make sure it's, again, make sure it's right. Then you come down here, you got the rest of this stuff. I'm going to say BOLs must have delivery name printed and signed to get paid. That is in bold letters, people. Bill of ladings must have delivery name printed and signed to get paid. Driver must check VIN serial numbers when supplied. Okay, if they're not supplied, don't worry about it. If they're supplied, you got to check them. Driver or dispatcher, listen up, people. Driver or dispatcher must call ahead with ETA, estimated time of arrival, so they can get ready for the driver at both the pickup and delivery location. Now, if you don't read these rate confirmations and you don't do these things, what's going to happen? It's going to cause problems. They're not going to be ready for you to receive you, which means your driver going to be sitting outside trying to get loaded, and he could miss his load date, and that's going to push everything back, which pushes everybody's money back, or cause everybody not to get paid at all. Right? This is your responsibility to read this stuff. Because I'm telling you, if you just shoot this over to the carrier, 9 times out of 10, the carrier is not going to read it. They're going to look at the money. Oh, the money looks right. Oh, where it's going to? Okay, yeah. They're going to sign and send it back. 9 times out of 10, that driver, that carrier is not going to read this stuff. It is your responsibility as a dispatcher to read this stuff and convey this to the driver and the carrier. So therefore, if you are reading it and you're reading it to them and you're conveying it to them and you're getting the acknowledgement, you know that they understand it. Okay, that is your job. Okay. Drivers must be made, and here again, this is in bold, big, all capital letters. Driver must be made aware of and follow all the instructions on the load confirmation. That's what I just got to tell you all. Okay, this is highly important. And that's what I just got to tell y'all. Reading these instructions is so important and it's so vital because it goes directly to if you're going to get paid or not. Again, in big, bold, capital letters, driver must be made aware of and follow all instructions on this load confirmation, i.e., collect payment at delivery, call with payment code, call record service ETC, etc. They're going over the same stuff that they're going over here. They're reiterating it down there again. That's how important it is. Okay? If there are any problems at loading or delivery, length, weight, item is not running, need permits, etc. Driver is to call DAC Shipping and Transport LLC before doing anything further. If driver transport an item with a problem and does not have DAC Shipping and Transport LLC approval, no future arrangements of additional payments will be given. Whoa, that's a big consequence. That could affect you even running loads with them in the future. Y'all see how important it is to follow these instructions and to read this stuff now? I know a lot of people think, oh, this is the easy part right here. Raycon, I done booked the load, I done found the load, this is that. Now I just got to get the Raycon, get it signed, get it over, and we get paid. Nah, this is not the easy stuff. This is the most important stuff. So don't get complacent when you get to the Raycon. Just because you done found a load, getting good paid money, all this other stuff, this deal is far from being done if you cannot complete this transaction and follow these exact instructions. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. Okay, very, 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 very important and vital stuff. Okay, without the approval, no future arrangements of additional payments will be given. If there are any problems en route, driver is to immediately call DAC Shipping and Transport LLC. We understand delays, but need to know the exact conditions. Now, Darren will tell you, and I do all the time too, I stay in constant contact with my drivers. If I'm dispatching the load personally, I stay in contact with the driver. If the driver, drivers always can call me up or call Darren up, say, hey man, I got a problem. That's why when y'all be seeing Darren, when he pops in on the meeting, he pops in and out, Darren is always dealing with something, either with the loads, with the brokers, with the carrier, something. That's the note. That is the sign of a successful dispatcher. If you are always busy, you are making money. I promise you that. And Darren is always busy doing something when it comes to load confirmations, talking with the carriers, dealing with shippers and brokers. There's a million things that can come up, but that's the life of a dispatcher. Is that you're not doing this 24/7, but in the hours that you're working, you are busy. You are busy. That's why when y'all call me up in the morning time, sometimes I tell y'all I try to be quick because I got about 5 or 6 people on the line, on hold. I got about 3 or 4 missed phone calls, and I just got off a call, and I've got to make phone calls as soon as I get off the phone with you. Okay, if you are busy, you are making money. You are successful. Okay. Where we at here? If there are any, okay, they didn't know exact conditions. We utilize load tracking technology. The driver must agree to accept text messages that will update our system. Be certain to provide driver name and cell phone number below. Okay, that's where you get the driver's name, cell phone number, print name, and all that stuff goes right there. Okay, that's the load confirmation. Let me see if I can find their rate con. No. Hold on. Let me find their rate confirmation. Now, that's a load. All right. Here's the bill of lading. Here's the bill of lading. Now, from the same load. This is the bill of lading from the same load. This is what you get from the receiving consignee, the receiving shipper, where you drop the load off. All right. This is what you're gonna get from them. It's gonna be tied up bill of lading. You're gonna have your load number there. Some people have pro number or load number. Remember, it's the same thing. You're gonna have the date, you have the weight, just to make sure it all checks out. It's the same as the one that's on the rate con. Same information here. The drop off, delivery, location, primary school facility, address, phone number, cell number, primary contact, Daniel Nelson, phone number, cell number, best to reach at cell number, notes and references. Note, again, important, 3 stars on either side. Driver must collect payment code from delivery contact person before offloading. Now, this is about the 5th time that you've seen that, so you know that is vital, right? Ain't no excuse. There's no excuse for the driver not getting the payment code, because they done put this thing on here about 5, 6 times already. Okay? They really mean that. Okay? Okay, so make sure that you follow these instructions. Again, references. What type of equipment or what the shipment is. Make sure it's the same item number, same type of air compressor. Okay? Pickups. There it is right there. The pickup location, where it got picked up from, Sergeant Cox, all that stuff is the same as it was on the Raycon. Deliveries. Here it is again right here. Make sure you go over, should pick up the time, the location, the contact information, the hours of the drop, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, or call for after hours. Important. The above described property is received in apparent good order. Count and conditions verified, except as noted below. Okay? Make sure that they do this. Make sure they print their name, signature, date. Driver, carriers, you're going to print their name, signature, and date. Receiver consignee, the person who is signing for it being received, name, signature, and date. Okay? So those are some really good sample, right there. Bill of ladings and Any questions on bill of ladings and Raycons? Any questions on that?
Yeah, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Will they be emailing this rate con back to you like the carrier, or is it actually a piece of paper that they got to sign?
No, it can be email, or it can be e-sign, but it's got to be a piece of paper that they sign. And if they is a piece of paper, blah, 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 blah. When you get the actual sign come back, it can be a photocopy. As long as they got like the tablet or the phone, they can sign it, right? And then they hold it up over it and make sure you got a good, clear copy of everything that's on there, and you can send that with it. These are the email copies, right? Because you see they're not signed. But the actual ones that I receive are the ones that when they ship me a photocopy of it. After it's been signed and everything, they get a good, clear picture of the whole document.
Okay. So is the carrier is taking that picture, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Carrier's taking that picture and they're sending it to you. And so you're gonna send this copy and that photocopy over to your broker. Because they got it printed out so they can see it nicely, and they got the signed copy to you.
Okay.
Most truck drivers have tablets. That's why they have tablets, so they can take a good picture of the whole thing. They can send it right to you, or they can take it with their phone. They can just message it to you, text it to you, or whatever the case may be.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions on rate cons? You're welcome. You're welcome. Good question, by the way. Any other questions on rate cons and bill of ladings? All right. Does everybody see the importance of rate cons, of reading rate cons and bill of ladings? Does everybody have a different? Does everyone now have a?
Well, Mr. Butler, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know the paperwork that you just explained. Where do I get those from?
What do you mean? The rate cons and stuff? That's going to come from the broker.
Come from the broker. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you got to get from the broker. Yeah, after you go to the load board, you find a load, you call the broker up, y'all discuss this load, what it's paying, this and that. Then the broker's gonna pretty much ask you for your carrier's DOT or EMC number. They're gonna run your carrier to make sure that they're good to run that load. Once that checks out, this all takes about 15, 20 seconds. It doesn't take long at all. And they're gonna run it. They go, okay, that carrier is good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot you over a rate con. That's what they're gonna send you. They're gonna send you the rate con. Okay, you're gonna get the BOL from the place you drop it off to. So you get the rate confirmation. It's coming from the broker, right? They're gonna send you the rate con. Make sure you read it. All that stuff. Call your carrier, read all that. Blah 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 blah. Then when they drop the load, they're gonna get that paperwork from the place where they dropped the load at. All right. Make sure both the place that you picked it up from signs it, prints it, like I said. Make sure the place you drop it off to, where they give you the BOL, which is your receipt, make sure they print, sign it, everything the way it's supposed to. Okay? This is not something that you as a dispatcher, you all don't have to have, printed out forms or rate con. No. This all comes from the broker. This comes from the broker. Even if you're doing a direct shipper load, it's gonna come from the shipper. So whoever you're getting that load from is going to supply you with the rate con, and whoever you're dropping that load off to is going to supply you with the BOL.
I got another question.
Yes, sir.
Is it two different BOLs, or do they have to kind of like sign the same one?
No, there's only one BOL. There's a rate con, and then there's a BOL. The rate confirmation is what you get before you go pick the load up. That gives you all your instructions, has to pay on it, everything outlined the way you discussed it. The BOL is your receipt you pick up from the place you deliver to. So you're going to have a signature from the people who you picked up from. They're going to sign. And then you're going to get a signature from the BOL from the people you delivered to. They're going to print it out and sign. And both of those have to be sent back over to the broker once this whole thing is completed.
Okay.
Okay, once the load is delivered, everything got the receipt, then the carrier is gonna send you both back the rate con and the signed, rate confirmation where they picked up the load and the signed receipt from where they dropped the load. They're gonna send you both those back.
Okay, thank you.
And then you forward those over to the broker. That's confirmation that everything was done the way it was supposed to, and that's how they then go ahead and authorize your payment for the carrier to get paid.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay.
I got one.
Hopefully you all have a yes, sir.
Earlier in the class, you stated the steps of what you have to do, like do the pitch, can you give me them steps again?
But I'm gonna do better than that. I'm gonna do better than that. If you're in your back office, they're in your back office too, by the way. Okay. But I'm gonna do better than that. You can either go to your back office site, which is right here. Go to your back office. In your back office, here they are right here. How to Dispatch series. This is the entire series right here. And they're here in order. Okay? The first step is compliance, knowing what dispatches are, why they are legal, what type of equipment you're gonna need, all that type of stuff. The next step is what? Locating carriers. We go over and show you where to go find your carriers at and how to locate them and how to get your list of carriers, loan operators to call. Once you know that, then you gotta go over what? Your pitch, right? The pitch, how much you need to move your truck. Then the next step is gonna be what? Dispatch training, dispatch agreement, right? That's the dispatch agreement. And after that, it's gonna be once you get the agreement signed, then you got to go to load boards and find load. That's load acquisition. Then you're gonna go to what we are on right now. Once you find the load, you're gonna go to rate confirmations and BOL and getting paid. Those are your steps right there. If you're in your back office, if you have access to your back office, you have all 7 videos right there. Or you can go to our playlist on our YouTube channel, and I have a whole bunch of different playlists here. Those of you who want to know about COM data and EFS, we have 2 videos on that. We have the easy lease, don't worry about that. We have how to identify and create your own high-paying dedicated lanes. We have 7 videos on that. We have videos for brokers. We have 13 videos for the broker's hour on the broker process. I did, the load board report, and I'm sorry, we got a series called Dispatching from the Park series. I was just doing some reminiscing and going back to the parks that I used to go to when I was homeless and doing this, starting from the homeless shelter. I was giving everybody a tour of the different parks that I used to walk to or catch the bus to during my day, because I leave the homeless shelter like at 4:30 in the morning, and I go to these parks and get on Wi-Fi and dispatch freight. so if I can do this being homeless, I know good doggone well y'all can do this. Okay. You got another series, the load board report. I got 19 videos on the load board report, my private consultation, and finally the how to dispatch series. This is the how to dispatch series. I'm going to go ahead and give you a link to this. Share this link right here. I'm going to go ahead and send it out to my YouTube people so that you all can have it on YouTube. And I'm going to send it to you all on here. Where's my thing at here? Send it to you all in the chat. I'm sending this to everyone. Here's the link to the How to Dispatch series. All right. Everyone get that link to the How to Dispatch series on YouTube? It's in the chat. Everybody should have it. Everybody got it? Everybody see it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. But yeah, that's where you find everything. Most of the stuff that you all are looking for is going to be in your back office. All this, the entire series is in the back office. Is also on our YouTube channel. Now, once Darren starts doing his training and stuff, you all are going to be able to access his training too, from the back office. So we're going to have a link to his training and his schedule and stuff there, as we're going to have to all the people who get their own RBBS Logistics Learning Centers. You're going to have a link to, if they decide to do their own training, you're going to have links to their training too as well, because we are really on a mission to create a huge legacy with the RBBS Logistics Learning Center. We are really trying to make this the number one, the go-to, the most diverse logistics training on the internet. Now, I don't know too many. I don't know any other dispatch training platforms that have it set up where you have multiple, where you are now going to have multiple trainers, multiple mentors, multiple people who are going to be able to help you in training in different aspects of dispatching, trucking, brokering, and all this other stuff. where you're gonna have multiple YouTube channels, multiple training sessions you can go to, attend on nightly trainings and this is that. Because on Thursday night, I'll see have my thing on Thursday night. Darren may have his on a Friday night. I don't know. Whenever his is, you all will have access to his as well as some of the other people who have already told me that they're gonna go ahead and get their own RBBS logistics learning centers through our trademark. Okay, so we are expanding this, and so you all will have a lot more people to learn from than just me. Okay, which is a good thing. Right? Because now you're gonna get to see different, personalities, different ways of people training. Some people you you may feel more comfortable with different people. So you're gonna have those things now, and you can schedule private consultation with different people and things like that. Darren is the man when it comes to auto hauling. So and he knows as much about dispatching as I do, and about the freight broking process as I do. But I'm gonna tell you right now, he knows more about the auto hauling than I do. Okay, I taught him the auto hauling, but he has taken it to a whole new level. And I don't mind saying that. I give props where props is due. Okay, so that's what y'all can look forward to. And those of you who are wanting to, make money like I do and like Darren is going to be and some other people, take a look at our trademark opportunity. We have two entry level trademark positions at $1,500 and $2,500, and then we have the upper level ones at $5,000 and $10,000. Okay, so but any more questions on what we went over here tonight? Okay, did y'all learn something?
Yes, I did.
Always.
That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. I wanted y'all to learn the importance of these rate cons and BOLs, because they're not just some, piece of paperwork you do. These are very important. By following these instructions and knowing how to evaluate and read these rate cons and BOLs, it will save you a lot of problems and make your getting paid. It makes your getting paid a smooth process. Because if you don't follow these instructions, I can guarantee you're going to catch hell on getting paid, if you get paid at all. All right? All right. That kind of concludes the training segment. I want to go over some stuff real quickly and show you all what we were talking about with the trademark stuff that we do. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen again. Where's my share? Share my screen again. And I'm gonna take you all over here to on both our main vocational school website and on our dispatch back office site, we've made some changes to the homepage. As you notice here, when you all go to mydispatcher.org now, it kind of gives you a little, a rundown of what we offer. Okay, training and the convenience of your home. By the way, these are sites that you get if you get your own trademark. You're gonna get these same sites. You're gonna have your, but I'm not gonna be the owner of it, because I'm gonna be able to duplicate these sites. I can go to my Wix and I can hit duplicate site, and then I'm going to transfer the ownership of that duplicate site to you, the person who the trademark usage agreement owner. So once you do your trademark usage agreement, you get your own RBBS Logistics Learning Center site, our back office site. You get this exact same site, but it's going to have a link to, when you go over here to where it says private consultations, it'll have the private consultation page where you all can, but if you all want to do your own, if you want to be listed and do private consultation like Darren does, it'll have a link here, and we will add you to the private consultants page. So when people click on here and they want to do private consultations, they get to go over and then come on over here, and then they can add you to the private consultants page, which is a pop up here shortly. Here we go. And then you'll be listed in the under the staff of the private consultation right here where it says staff. Click right there. You got myself, you got Darren Stevens, Kwame Smith, Larissa Pompey. So you can book your private consultation with whoever you want to book it with, or your people can book private consultation. You know, if you decide you want to do them and you got your own RBBS Religious Learning Center, you'll be listed down here as having, being able to do private consultation. And of course, we charge $100 per hour, so you'll be able to keep that $100 an hour, and then you all, depending on what you are, depending on what level you come in as a trademark owner, it would depend on what you pay me a royalty for at the end of the month. Okay, because remember, all the money you earn from your RBBS Logistics Learning Center goes into your account, all of it, and then you pay me at the end of the month my royalty, because I'm still doing the main training and stuff like that, but I don't get paid until the end of the month. So essentially, I become I'm an employee of my own company. Okay, you're running your own RBBS Logistics Learning Center. You have your own back office website. Okay, you're gonna have your own back office website. You're gonna have your own, your curriculum of training. You're gonna have the main training, which is what I do, and then if you all are coming on here, we have you all listed on here on your training schedules too. Like you see this schedule here, this is my training schedule. Down here, beneath it, I have each person listed with their own training schedule. So people can click on your link, your Zoom link, go to your Zoom training, or go to your YouTube channel, watch your YouTube videos and things of that nature. And so they have the times and the schedule of everybody who is doing training. If you decide you want to train, if you don't want to do training, that's fine. Let us who decide that want to do training, let us do the training. And I'll continue to do training. Darren's going to do training. I got some other people who say that they're going to do training too. All right. You're also going to have, the same dispatch tools and resources, but they're still going to be able to access all the back office tools and resources. You're going to have the same tools and resources. Only difference is up here on these YouTube channels, when you have your own version of training, there'll be another listing here for your own version of the YouTube training videos. But the tools and resources are all going to be the same across every RBBS Logistics Learning Center. Okay, load boards, access, all that stuff is going to be the same across every RBBS Logistics Learning Center. Okay. Another thing that you all are going to have access to is the different websites. You're going to have this website. You're also going to get access to this website, which is our vocational school, the RBBS Logistics Learning Centers, our vocational school, our on-site training, and our online at-home training. Okay, so you're going to have access to this website, not just access. You're going to get this website along with the back office website. So you're going to have, this is going to be your website. It's going to have the links to, when people click on here to register, we're going to create another registration page that they go to, so that when people register, they are registered under your website and not registered under my website, because your website is going to have your links in it. It's going to have the same registration page. The only difference is this registration number is going to be different. It's going to be coincide with your site. So we'll know when someone registers for the vocational school and they fill all this information out right here and it comes over to us as a registration form, we're going to know which website it came from, which RBBS Logistics Learning Center it came from. That's going to be your student. You're the one who registered that student to the vocational school. So when they pay that $7,500 tuition fee, if and when we finally get approved for the voc rehab, they go through voc rehab or whatever the case may be, when that comes in and gets paid, the registration is coming from your website. So guess what? The profits from that student goes to you. If you register 27 students paying what? $7,500 each. We have the capability to run 6 classes per month. Let me go ahead and pull up the calculator real quick. We have the capability of running 6 classes per month. And if you're registered 27, each class can hold up to 45 students. So if you're registered, let's say 27 students that month for whatever classes they attend, right? And they're all paying what, $7,500 each. That's going to equal that much money. And then you got the cost. The cost for each student, which is hotel expenses, travel, and the cost breaks down to this 7,500 minus, I think it's 4688 is what our profit is. So the cost per student is $2,812. That's the cost per student, right? So if you got that cost times 27 students, if you refer 27 students, your cost would be $75,224 minus what? 7,500 times 27, which is going to give you your profit minus 202,500. So 75,924. 202,500 minus 75,524. That would give you a total profit of $126,976. And that's just for 27 students. If you send 27 students that month, that's your cut. Now, depending on what trademark you signed up at, is gonna determine how much, what percentage of royalty you're gonna pay back to the RBBS at the end of the month. Because remember, all the money goes to you, goes into your Square account, goes into your bank account, and then on the last calendar day of each month, you send me my royalty check along with an outline of how many students, because all that stuff would be in your Square account that tells you the breakdown of how many online enrollments you have, how many monthly subscriptions were paid that month, how many students got registered and paid that $7,500, whatever it may be. So all that you'll be able to pull up in your Square account, which we're going to show you how to set that up too. So you'll be able to put all that. So each month you're going to send me a breakdown. I can pull it up too, pull up the breakdown of what your RBBS Logistics Learning Center did, and then you're going to send me a check for whatever my royalty is. If you sign up at the $10,000 level, you're going to send me a 5% royalty check. If you sign up at the $5,000 level, you're going to send me a 10% royalty check. If you sign up at the $2,500 level, you're going to send me a 20% royalty check. If you sign up at the $1,500 level, you're going to send me a 40% royalty check. Plain and simple. Okay? So in other words, you all get all the money, then you pay me at the end of the month. That's how the trademark works. I am no longer the quote unquote at the top of the chain on the corporate scale. Yes, I own a company, but I am essentially becoming an employee of my own company. And you all control all of the money. You control the money, you control the enrollments, you control, the billings, you control the invoicing, you control everything except for the training. I still do the training, but you control the business aspect of your RBBS Logistics Learning Center. Does everybody understand how that works now? And by the way, if you're doing that consistently each month just on the vocational school, you do that times 52 weeks. I'm sorry, not 52 weeks. Times 12 months. What was that? 126.9. That times 12 months. That's the kind of money you're looking at. So you all see the potential of just a vocational school by itself. Vocational schools are a huge moneymaker. Don't let nobody fool you. If you look at all these truck driving schools and how many truckers they turn out each year, I can do a Google inquiry. How many new CDL per year? All right. Is there a shortage of truck drivers? How many CDL truck drivers are there in the U.S.? All right. There are approximately 3.6 million professional truck drivers in the United States. Did y'all know that? How many truck drivers are there in the U.S.? I'm trying to figure out what's the average the state has. I want to pull up how many new truck drivers, how many CDL drivers. You gotta learn to ask the right questions when going to Google. Number of new CDL drivers per year. It's always hard to get to answer the exact question. You just gotta know what to ask for. How many CDL drivers are there? I'm not looking for that. How many truck drivers? I'm not looking for that. It's amazing how Google don't want to give you what you asked for, right? Truck driver salary. I didn't ask you for that. 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 All right, truck driver statistics 2021, labor statistics drivers, average truck driver pay, commercial truck driver salary. I didn't ask you for all that. So I'm gonna have to rephrase the question again. Number of new CDL drivers per year. Graduates. Nah, let's see if it gives me the answer there. It's always giving this heavy and tractor trailer truck drivers. Okay. All right, let's put it this way. How many new truck drivers are there every year? Employment of heavy and tractor trailer truck drivers is projected to grow 6% from 2020 to 20 patients, about 231,100 openings for heavy tractor operators, truck drivers are projected each year on average over the decade. Yeah, it kind of gives you a roundabout answer, but it's still not telling you, what the number of graduates are. Let's put it this way. Attend truck driving schools. Now, let me ask that question. Truck driving school data. Okay. It's amazing how many new truck drivers are there per year. What percentage of people are truck drivers? Is truck driving school worth in 2020? How much? Okay. U.S. truck drivers. They want to give me this stuff for Florida. I want to know what it is, nationwide. Let's go up here and check this right here. Let's check the data. Okay, Data USA. Add comparison. Is this just for this company? U.S. truck driving training school competition. 2020 enrolled students, 107 to 100% full time. I think this is just for this one company, for one truck. This truck driving school. Let me make sure that's what this is right here. Cost, financial aid, enrollment. U.S. truck driver training school has a total enrollment of 172 students. Yeah, this is just for this one U.S. truck driving training school. Ugh. All right, so it's 172 enrolled students for this truck driving school. All right. 1% of students enrolled in U.S. truck driving school training are enrolled full time. The breakdown. I don't want to know what it is for just that one school. I want to know what it is total. Maybe I have to ask a different question then. Let's ask this question. How many CDL schools in the United States? Let me ask that question. All right. There are 338 truck driving school businesses in the U.S. as of 2022, a decline of about 0.2%. Okay. All right. So I guess we're going to have to figure this out on our own. So there are 338 truck driving schools. I know for a fact the one in Orange Park, Florida, the Tallahassee area sent 60 students to that school, and they run 3 classes simultaneously. There are 3 different, for the a national truck driving school in Orange Park, Florida. So they run 3 classes simultaneously, and there's about, I know from the Tallahassee VA, the VA sent 60 students by itself. So that was 60 students that went to a 4 weeks of training from the VA. And I think they had about 170, 180 students, almost the same as what this other school was. So if you've got on average 338 schools, let's do the math. You got on average 338 schools times around, let's say 150. Well, let's say 100. We're not gonna say every school has 172. We're gonna say times 100 students. Oh, got too many. Times 100 students per month, because it's a 4-week course. Let's just cut it down to just a 4-week course. Let's say it's just 100 students altogether. And I know that's a terrible undercutting of the actual numbers, but we're gonna go with that. That means there's 33,800 people that attend truck driving school every month. Basically. Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Do y'all see what I'm talking about when it comes to vocational schools make a lot of money? Because I know the one in Orange Park, Florida, it costs $6,500 to attend that school. Let's say on average it's $5,000. Okay, on average it's $5,000. That times $5,000, because that's what the average cost is for a truck driving school. That's $169,000. No, it's $169 million, right? $169 million per month. Do you think that all these truck drivers that are going to school, going to CDL school, do you think all of them can afford to pay that tuition on their own? Out of all these people who attend these truck driving schools, do you think they can afford to pay that on their own? That $5,000 to $7,000 on their own? Anybody?
I would say no for the most part. Unless they have a savings or something.
Actually, I would say unless they have a what?
Unless they have a special savings account, I would say no.
Yeah. I would say that 90% of those people are not paying their own way. They're sitting there through some type of government program,
Yeah.
either through the VA, through food stamps, through Workforce Plus, Job Source One, unemployment, the federal prison system, housing. There are a whole number of programs that pay to send people to truck driving school, CNA school, hazmat school, welding school. All these schools, people are being sponsored through these schools, through these government programs. Why? To get them off of government assistance. So now you all see why I say vocational schools is the money maker in the United States. People are sleeping on what vocational schools make on the kind of money that they make. And 90% of all the students that attend their school are paid for by government programs, taxpayer money. Taxpayer money. So if you set up a vocational school, and ours is set up pretty nicely, if I do say so myself. If you set up a vocational school with the curriculum that we have, with our executive summary, the way our business model is put together for our vocational school. So once we get this, if we get this accreditation and get this VA and Workforce Plus and these other government programs start to come on board, I mean, there's no stopping us. Ain't no stopping us. I mean, that's the easiest money you ever want to make. And our vocational school has guaranteed career placement with the way we're set up. Teaching this curriculum are bonded, federally bonded owners of freight brokerage firms and owners of state licensed dispatch firms. That's all those are the instructors. If you don't have your own freight, if you don't own your own freight brokerage firm, if you're not a federally bonded freight broker, you cannot be an instructor at our school. If you're not an owner of a state licensed dispatch firm, you cannot be an instructor at our school. Okay? Those are all the instructors that we are bringing in. And we pay our instructors $25,000 per 2-week course. 4 instructors per class. And that is calculated in that overhead that I showed you all back there on, if you said 27 students in, they registered at that $7,500, and the cost is like $2,600 some odd dollars per student. It gives you a profit of $4,688 per student. You all are starting to see the potential of owning an RBBS Logistics Learning Centers. Okay, and that's not to mention when we go ahead and we talk about the our other training factors, which is our online training, which I've already proven how valuable that is, because I've been running that for the last 3 years, pretty much myself, and earned more than $500,000 in the last 3 years just on the online training. Many times I've shown you all my square, I've shown you all my earnings reports, my custom reports. Let's see. There it is right there. That's what I've done by myself through just the dispatch and freight broker online training. That doesn't include the vocational school. That doesn't include the YouTube channel revenue. That doesn't include the Easy Lease. That doesn't include the new training platform that we just started, how to run a truck for owner operators. This is strictly what you see right there is strictly what I've made in the last 3 years from just the dispatch training, which you all are attending here tonight, and the freight broker training, what I have on Saturdays. That's just that by itself. On enrollments and monthly subscription. You all start to see the potential of owning an RBBS Logistics Learning Centers. And here's the great part about it. You don't have to do any of the hard work anymore. I've done all the hard work. I've created the brand. I've gotten the following, have a huge following on YouTube. And, you know, we have built-in clientele and people who are coming in and people, I mean, we're already established. The brand is already created. That was the hard part, was creating the brand. That was the hard part. And you don't have to do training. All you do is just come right in, get your own RBBS listener center. You promote your RBBS Logistics Learning Center on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, which we're going to show you how to set up all your social media accounts so you can do your free promotions by just posting stuff like I do all the time on my Facebook pages and stuff like that, my Twitter accounts, you know, on my Twitter page. I have a, you know, the RBBS Logistics Learning Center on Twitter. I have an Instagram page. I have a LinkedIn page. I have several Facebook. I have about 15, 20 Facebook pages. As you all can see, I have a whole bunch of Facebook pages. So, you know, there's a whole lot of ways that you can promote this. Not to mention YouTube, my YouTube channel. So, but you know, if you're interested in getting your own RBBS Logistics Learning Centers, you can go either to our homepage here at RBBS LLC at the RBBSLLC.com. Go down here and you click here where it says, now you can own your very own RBBS Logistics Learning Center and its subsidiaries. Detailed presentation, click here. Okay, matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and click that and give you all the link to it. But here's the detailed presentation. There it is right there. It outlines each aspect of the RBBS Logistics Learning Centers, tells you all the different websites you get, tells you what each part of the RBBS Logistics Learning Center, what the earning potential is. I even gave you a screenshot of what I just showed you, my square earnings on just the dispatch and broker training platform. It outlines everything for you. Gives you a link to all the websites that you're going to get. It gives you a look at the trademark usage license agreement in full. And if you want to get signed up, click here to get signed up. And you can pick which trademark you want to go for, $1,500, $2,500, $5,000, or $10,000 trademark. And this outlines and tells you, what each one provides, what percentage you keep for your profits, so what you pay me on royalties. Of course, the more skin in the game you have, the higher your percentages are. If you go up to the $10,000 level, you keep 95%. Everything you earn, you just pay me a 5% royalty at the end of each month. $5,000, you pay me a 10% royalty at the end of each month. $2,500, you pay me a 20% royalty. $1,500, you pay me a 40% royalty. Easy laid out. All right, but that's it. That's pretty much it for the night, y'all. I just wanted to go through that real quick, let y'all know about that opportunity. Here's the link to the presentation in full. If you want to review that, y'all have the link there. We'll go ahead and give it to my people over here on YouTube. Give them the link to the presentation. If they want to take a look at it, they've got it. Everybody's got it. So there you have it. RBBS Logistics Learning Centers. All right, everybody. Look, I appreciate y'all for sticking around and just hanging out with me so far. I appreciate it. I thank you all for tuning in for training, like always. And I hope y'all have a great, great, great weekend. I hope y'all learned something tonight. Hope y'all got some good information. Hope a lot of you all who are thinking about getting your own RBBS Distance Learning Center, I hope we help you all to get the information you need so you all can evaluate this opportunity and make a decision on what you want to do. Thank you all again. I appreciate each and every last one of you all. You all have a great night, and I will see you all. Some of you all, I'll see y'all on Saturday for the Brokers Hour that we have on Saturday morning, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, I'll see some of y'all on this Tuesday for Easily training, and we're going to be starting our trademark owners training here pretty soon because I've got a couple of people who are ready to go ahead and get their own trademark, and as soon as they do that, then we'll go ahead and schedule our trademark owners training that we're going to have. Now, if you're not a trademark owner, you won't be able to attend the trademark owners training. We're not gonna broadcast them on YouTube. I may broadcast the first one and maybe one promotional one, but other than that, trademark owners training is going to be strictly for trademark owners only. So if you're thinking about getting a trademark, you'll be able to look at the couple of broadcasts that we do put on YouTube just to kind of give you all a feel for what we do as trademark owners and the type of training that you all go through. You'll get that, but after that, you won't have access to trademark owners training. Y'all have a good night. Bye, everybody.